Scrolling with Haley.
I am Haley Carania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat because there's a lot to scroll through on X, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Cutting through the clutter, one hot take at a time.
Love seeing you all in the chat before the show. I tried to jump in just a few minutes before to say hello. I love the chat interaction. Thank you for helping. But I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else.
Scrolling with Haley.
Just search that up and I will be there.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome in. It's three-man front. Back in 1933, we got the first Major League Baseball All-Star game. We'll get another one tonight, another installment. The City of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia Citizens Bank Ballpark, National League, me and Pat's league, versus the hated American League, Conrad and Molly's league. Yeah. Happy Tuesday, guys.
That's the junior circuit. We're members of the senior circuit.
That's exactly
because we were the first ones.
That's right.
We've brought y'all many great things, like the designated hitter.
You did bring us the DH.
And free agency.
And free agency.
And the short portion, right.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Hey.
Free agency.
Hey.
What a night last night in Philadelphia. You wanted drama? You got drama.
That was great.
It was great. It was great to see the first time ever a St. Louis Cardinal, my team, win the home run derby.
I was fired up, exactly 0 for last night's home run derby, but I want to see what it looked like on Netflix. And it turns out we got a really, really compelling TV. That was good.
It was really good.
Yeah, if you're an executive at Netflix, you're very happy. You're Major League Baseball, you're happy because you were able to maintain an audience because it went down to the final swing. It was very cool.
Well, and for it to happen there in Philadelphia with all the Philadelphia fans, and then you had the drama, and then they're cheering against Jordan Walker. That was really cool. And, man, he stepped up.
He did. His final 6 swings to win the home run derby last night against the hometown favorite, Schwarber. His longest home run of the night for Jordan Walker was 470 feet. His hardest hit ball was 115 miles per hour. Exit velo, 5th youngest to win the home run derby. 24 years old, 52 days.
Yeah, he looked like he was in the zone last night. He's just so calm, and I know that they were remarking about it on the broadcast. But that guy, he is a Braves killer. He's a guy that I don't like to see in the outfield because he can make plays there, but at the plate. But last night he was a cool customer.
He is from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Went to Decatur High School. He played East Cobb travel baseball, and his dad graduated from MIT. He's an engineer.
I mean, what a great family.
His mom graduated from Harvard.
Yeah.
Oh.
So needless to say,
they've got it all taken care of.
Yeah, matter of fact, his mom's got multiple degrees from Harvard.
It has nothing to do with where they were educated. Just seeing them interacting there in the stands and rooting him on, and then after the game, just seemed like really sweet people.
And the cool part, because obviously I've been following his path. He has been up and down. This year it's kind of all come together. But if you go back 1 year ago, he was at AA Springfield because he was on rehab assignment. He had appendicitis. And so he goes to Springfield to get his swing back because he was not having a very good year. Then he had the appendectomy, that he went back down. He was hitting .210 for the Cardinals last year. He had 3 home runs, and he had a 33% strikeout rate.
Wow.
He goes down to the minors. He works on his swing and things during the offseason, and now he leads the National League in RBIs, and he wins the home run derby last night. So quite a roller coaster, Conrad, going from 1 year ago, you're in Springfield, Missouri, trying to figure your swing out, and last night, in front of millions of people, you hit 6 consecutive home runs to win the home run derby.
Yeah, it's a heck of a 12 months for him, and as you said, one of the breakout stars in Major League Baseball this year. But I go back to what Landrum said, because I even texted you during the first round when he was up there and he hit the 13 home runs. He didn't even look like he was trying. It's like he's just poking the bat out there and just so calm, and the way that he went about it was really, really impressive. And then at the end, to know that you're going up against Kyle Schwarber, the entire stadium wants Kyle Schwarber to win. They're booing you every time you don't hit a home run. But then when you had those 6 straight at the very end, and it was dead silent in there as they're just watching the inevitable happen, it was really, really cool. It was an awesome scene, an awesome moment for him. I know you're very happy as a Cardinals fan.
Very much so. And the other cool thing is that he makes $799,400 for the Cardinals. And last night, because he won the home run derby, he got $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
So one night of work
means a little bit to
he
him.
just made more than he's going to make all year long playing right field for the Cardinals.
And we check another team off the list of teams that have had players that have won a home run derby. Cardinals were one of those teams entering last night.
Oh, yeah, because they mentioned it. Pujols did it 4 times? Is that what they said on the broadcast, and he never won it?
Yeah, we've had 8 people participate. We had Jim Edmonds. He participated one year, and then he got hurt right afterwards, said his swing got all screwed up because of the home run derby. And so since then, the Cardinals have been very –
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You're elated, very excited for Jordan Walker, excited that the Cards get represented on a national stage like that. Do you have any sort of concern of a second half issues with this? Because that's been a common thing, with the home run derby. A lot of players have said that it's had a negative impact on their swing.
For me, no. The reason why is if you saw some of the home runs that he hit last night was more line drive.
Yeah.
No, he did have some majestic home runs.
He was very deliberate, I thought, with his swing plane.
So it didn't look like he was trying to elevate and do something different.
He didn't change his swing just for the derby.
From what I see.
Let's be honest, Kyle Schwarber, he's swinging to hit a home run every time he's up anyways.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Well, speaking about hitting a home run every single time, every Tuesday at this time, we hit a home run with Mike Griffith from the AJC, DawgNation.com. We are 1 week away from SEC football media days down in Tampa, Florida. Mike, it seems like we've been asking you the same questions over the course of the last few weeks, but I am just curious, if there was 1 or 2 top storylines for next week in Tampa, what have you highlighted to kind of pay attention to?
Oh, man. I try not to go in with any predisposed notions, but, obviously there's been a lot going on, with the bill and a lot of the individual states writing letters about that. But, I think that's important. But I don't know if that's really what people want to hear about. So I guess I would just think football. And, my thoughts would be on, let's face it, Lane Kiffin and LSU gear. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in that. It is being held in Florida. John Summerall's got a lot of support right now. There's a lot of momentum, so I think there'll be a lot of Florida energy coming out of there with that being held in Tampa. And then, of course, between Alabama and Georgia, you get 2 schools, kind of trying to hold the line as the standard for the SEC, the 2 teams that played in the SEC championship game and have won the vast majority of them over the last 10 years. Some new faces, some new coaches in there. But other than that, just kind of the typical rigmarole.
Do we get the harmonious, unified message that we've gotten most years out of SEC coaches at this event? I asked that because it seemed like Big 12 Media Days last week that it was more contentious and you had some more free-thinking, if you will, coaches that were willing to voice their opinion and give their thoughts on things. Do you think we get more of that when we get to Tampa?
I'm not necessarily. The Big 12, let's face it, they need to reach a little bit harder to make headlines. Who's the Big 12? Well, they won 1 playoff game in the history of the playoffs and, had their best teams come to the SEC. I don't know. If there was so much bad publicity for the Big 12 via Texas Tech in the off season. They were kind of a lot of infighting there, right? I guess Deion Sanders, to me, still moves the needle because I'm of that era. I'm a big follower of Deion Sanders. So I'm always interested in what he's doing. And, it's funny, he went there and got all those transfers, and now that doesn't look so crazy, when you see other programs doing it. So maybe Deion was at the forefront of something there. The SEC coaches, it almost feels like, at the spring meetings, they kind of let loose a little bit. And, you think that by the summer they're all kind of on the same page, almost like there's a pre-meeting, right? Like, okay, guys, let's not get sideways. Everybody needs to kind of have a unified front on some of these issues for the talks to be effective.
Mike, what do you think we get from Commissioner Sankey at Media Days? There's a lot of things going on. Do you expect that he's going to come out and again, I guess, show his protest of the Protect College Sports Act? Do you think we're going to get anything on the college football playoff conversations and maybe an update on how those things are going? Not a decision, but maybe at least an update on those conversations. What do you think will be the big talking points that we'll ultimately get from the commissioner?
Well, I think he'll try to do a standard presentation on the league's success. Somewhere, trying to make the case for how good the SEC is, not just in football but across all sports. I mean, I think he kind of has a presentation he likes to do to remind everyone of the SEC's success. He'll answer whatever questions he gets asked. He doesn't dodge any questions. So you'll hear a lot of, as I've stated before, as we know by now, as previously discussed, because there really isn't a lot new going on, right? Everything's kind of in an impasse right now. Everybody in the SEC and Big Ten are working to derail that bill, which, the SEC made clear what they had an issue with, and I guess it didn't get fixed. So this is going to be a waste of time, in my opinion. The whole sharing your revenue and limiting conference growth, I don't get it. I mean, it really doesn't serve the current immediate issues. It's really, politicized a bit, I think, by Cody Campbell and for his potential involvement in this bill. So unfortunately, the bill to me doesn't fit the need. It's got some good stuff in there. It's too bad it hasn't been tapered down to be something that would get approved. But I guess some people have dug in on it and don't see the forest for the tree. So that takes that out of the equation. I think we'll hear more about the CSC, College Sports Commission, and their operations as they're trying to manage the NIL contracts and provide a framework that everyone is comfortable with and understands and is compliant with, enforceable. I think that's important. You might hear something about the Michigan case that just came out. I mean, it's pretty clear there's a lack of institutional control there, but, can anybody do anything about it? Is there an NCAA with enough teeth to punish? And how do you punish if, some of the testimony from, the coach is correct and they were told not to, speak out on some potential violations? I mean, that's a clear lack of institutional control. I mean, that used to, back in the day, that could get a program shut down, certainly banished from bowls, but that's not today's world. And I don't know how much power the NCAA has. And even if they did have power, do you really want to take Michigan out of the equation? I mean, it's a really popular brand. And do you want to punish the people today for, the transgressions of, 3 years ago? So that comes up probably, I would guess, some way, shape, or form. But other than that, I mean, who's on the hot seat? How many games does Kalen DeBoer got to win? How about Steve Sarkisian? Is Kirby Smart still the best coach, yay or nay? Lane Kiffin in purple and gold, what's next after hot yoga?
Mike Griffith from the AJC, DawgNation.com joins us here on the Higginbotham Hotline. So I want to go back to something you just said at the very end of that answer. And it's not so much a hot seat question, but what program, is it Texas, that has the most pressure coming into this season just because the expectations with the head coach, with their quarterback, with their NIL? Is Texas the one that's going to have the most pressure on them going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, probably, but really, it's from a national media sense, but really every coach has pressure now. I mean, now that you got people spending so much money and paying for players, every program's going to think they should win, right? We're spending money, we're giving money. This is why we gave money. We gave money to make playoffs. I think there's pressure on Lane Kiffin, and I'll tell you that. Of course, he likes to kind of bring that upon himself, so I don't know that necessarily a bad thing because it's, Lane being Lane, I think it'll be easier to get attention to Baton Rouge. I don't know that the fan base will be quite as forgiving if things don't go well for him. But I think they will go well for him. I do. I think LSU's loaded, and, from everything I've seen and heard and read, pretty decent offseason for the Tigers. I'll be honest, I kind of miss the East and West division right now, right? Like when they got rid of it, they're like, oh, yeah, now it's just going to be the best. But part of me is like, boy, that'd be interesting if it was back to East and West again. And but I guess with the scheduling model, there had to be some changes and whatnot. But, I think LSU pressure, Texas pressure. I think Georgia, Kirby, to some extent. This is the last 2 years he hasn't won a playoff game. He's won the SEC title in back-to-back years, but, the national critics are what they are. And they lost their top receiver, and, we're going to have to find out how good Gunnar Stockton really is. Now that he can't just throw a, 6-yard out route to a speedy guy that runs 20 yards. I mean, he's going to have to play make and go downfield, and they've got to rebuild their receiving core. They lost 5 of their top 6 pass catchers. So a lot of questions about Georgia, and, can they maintain the standard as well as, 2-time defending SEC champs?
How much are you buying Oklahoma? A lot of talk about Venables and the Sooners getting back to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I'm bought in. I look at Georgia's schedule, and they're SEC home opener is against Oklahoma. That's a losable game. And, look, I think Brent Venables was a really good football coach. They had some struggles early on. I think they beefed up their roster. They bring back an experienced quarterback that's healthy now. I think Jim Nagy, the guy from Senior Bowl, former executive director, I think he's made a difference as a general manager. So I absolutely think Oklahoma was the real deal. I expect that Georgia-Oklahoma game to go deep into the fourth quarter and could go either way.
Mike, how much time, and not saying that, he would be fired this year or anything like that, but how much time do you think Josh Heupel has bought himself at Tennessee? Because I feel like a year ago we brought up the idea of Brian Kelly and LSU, and maybe there being some frustrations there, and it might have seemed a little far-fetched ahead of the season, but we saw how it went. If Tennessee, I know they made the playoff a couple of years ago, but didn't meet expectations last year, a lot of question marks this year. How much time do you think they're going to give him to potentially get back to a playoff? Is that a coach that could be on a hot seat if Tennessee has another disappointing season?
Yeah, it's interesting. What is this, year 5 for Josh? So he's been at Tennessee as long as Beamer's been at South Carolina, right? I think it's year 5. Is that right? Does that sound right? Or
that
is this
sounds
year
right.
6? Yeah.
Let's see, 21, 20, 6. I think this is year 6, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think so. I think it's something that gets looked at. It is interesting because Tennessee's got a lot of money, and they seem to be a program that would have been, and they did. Look, they went out and bought Nico when Nico was a high school player. Remember how controversial that was? That they had this $11 million quarterback and how great he was supposed to be, and obviously that blew up on them last year. And they got a decent transfer in, and who was adequate last year, but the program didn't make the playoff, and that's the new standard now. And I think Tennessee's a place that is going to expect to make the playoff. I think Tennessee's got the budget, and will continue to have the budget with this new entertainment district they're building. I mean, they're doing some things to really lock down their resources and, maintain being, one of the elite players in college football. So, I do think there are some expectations on Tennessee, and I don't know that they really have the horses in the barn to do it this year, So that's going to be very interesting to see, if Josh Heupel misses the playoffs with a 6 or 7 win season, what does his job security look like? And, who's on the radar to be the next Tennessee head coach? I mean, you see Jason Witten's coaching tight ends at Oklahoma. I bet he'd be a pretty popular pick after, he returns to the ranks and has a good year at Oklahoma. He would seem to be, as a former Vol, that, someone that the Tennessee fans would embrace, and probably someone that would embrace the opportunity. Is he qualified? I don't know. I mean, I don't, how qualified was Deion Sanders when you get right down to it. So, I think there's something to be said for that, guys. Yeah, I do.
That is Mike Griffith. You can follow his work as we get ready to be in Tampa, Florida, as we're covering SEC Football Media Days. You can follow his work at the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and also at DawgNation.com. Mike, always appreciate you. Look forward to catching up with you next week sometime. I know our schedules are all out of whack, so we will definitely try to find a quiet minute or two that we can visit with you to see what you think on what's happening in Tampa. As always, we appreciate it.
All right. Sounds great, guys. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank
Appreciate
Mike.
it very much. Mike joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
We'll continue live here from Social Taco. The door is going to open about 45 minutes from right now. SocialTaco.bar for more information. We'll tell you more about our friends as the show progresses. More to talk about, more to unpack of what Mike Griffith just told us. Three-Man Front continues on Jocks.
Scrolling with Haley.
I am Haley Carania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat because there's a lot to scroll through on X, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Cutting through the clutter, one hot take at a time.
Love seeing you all in the chat before the show. I tried to jump in just a few minutes before to say hello. I love the chat interaction. Thank you for helping. But I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else.
Scrolling with Haley.
Just search that up and I will be there.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Scrolling with Haley. Join Haley Caronia as she scrolls through the biggest headlines.
If you haven't watched this show before, we do blind reactions. I have not seen these videos, so I am seeing them for the first time with all of you. We're going to implement the tinfoil hat time segments and all the stuff you know and love. And I'm going to finish the show and answer some of your questions. Someone asked me what made you get into podcasting, and I was producing podcasts for other people. And I was like, I could do this for myself, and here I am.
Scrolling with Haley. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.